Yo, what is up, people? Welcome back to the one and only show, The Max Factor, and incredibly pumped up to have the one and only. Now, this guy, I'll tell you, you're not going to be able to tell because he's got his fancy jacket on here today. Because it's
take it off. We can take it off a little bit later.
It's the first day of spring, but this guy's
That's right. Got my blue
This
on.
guy's got muscles, I'm telling you. And he's got muscles on his muscles.
That's
He's
right.
even got freaking muscles on his eyeballs.
Oh.
Yeah, muscles on his freaking eyeballs. This guy, Mike Ritter, represents the one and only Abs Company.
Yes.
And I can tell you,
Yeah,
if you look at any of his advertisements, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this guy's the real freaking deal. When he wants something, he goes for it. He makes it happen. He makes it a reality. And ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, here he is, Mike Ritter.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me
Are you
here.
pumped up as always?
Man, I am super,
Did you get your workout in today?
Of course. 5 a.m. I actually ran to the gym today. First day of spring, you know, we're getting it in, and it was awesome, man. Just thinking about today and getting together with you, because it's been a while, right, since we hung out a little bit.
Been a while, like months.
It's been a month. This guy's a hard guy to get in touch with. Which camera do we look at, by the way? We're looking just in general?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere.
All right, cool. So I want to make sure, you know, you get my good side here, of course. But yeah, man, super pumped up to be here. So proud of you, man, what you're doing here with the podcast. I'm going to ask you a question. You enjoying what you're doing?
I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast.
Cool, man. I bet.
Well, I'll tell you, so you just got back from China, right? Taiwan?
Yeah, Taiwan. Yeah, man. It was awesome. Awesome. I was down there with, went over with the CEO of the company, Sean Gagnon, who you know real well. And it was a once in a lifetime, amazing, amazing trip. We have a customer over there, in full transparency, he is a friend. Michael Sancyprian is his name, and he's literally one of the top operators in the entire world for health clubs. I mean, this guy is a freaking beast. And he's been after us for a while to come over to see his clubs. Now, he's an American guy that opened up clubs in Taiwan. I think
That's
now
amazing.
he's got like 90, and it's World Gym Taiwan, and he just dominates the island. I mean, this guy is phenomenal. So we became friends. We met at a charity event. He was a customer. You know, he puts in our full line of Abs products, our tire flip, our Battle Rope ST, of course, that you know about. And he's been after us to come over and see, because he puts on this spectacular, I mean, amazing. You would love this, man. This Employee Appreciation Awards dinner. Now, check it out. He's got 12,000 employees, right? We had over 8,000 employees at this event. Now, he would send me videos and text me videos, because like I said, we're boys. He would text us stuff, but until you were there, it was the Academy Awards on growth hormone, steroids, everything, right? I mean, it was nuts. And to show you how crazy it was, we got there at 3 p.m. I was myself, Sean Gagnon was there, and also the CEO and founder of MyZone, Dave Wright's also my boy. We got there at 3 p.m., Brian, and this event went till over 2 a.m. The event
That's nuts.
2 a.m. And as the night was going on, but it was super energy. It was fantastic. One of the lowlights of the night.
8,000 people.
Dude, they had this warehouse. I'll show you the videos, man. I mean, you can see him even on YouTube. But him and his partner John came in, his business partner John came in on this incredible, massive float with the big gorilla, you know, because it's World Gym, right? And he's shooting money out of cannons.
Whoa.
People were going nuts. I mean, it was something. They were like, look, you better stand on the stage. I'm like, I want to be a part of this. I want to get some of that Taiwanese money, that NT, right? But I was up there but just the event itself, not only the energy, but, you know, what really touched me the most on a serious note is the employees, when we were coming in, they just lined up to get a picture with their boss. I mean, literally hundreds of people just to shake his hand and to line up. You know what that told me about, because him and I talk a lot, and myself and Sean, we talk a lot about business, in addition to other stuff, but a lot about business. We talk about culture. And that really was that was firsthand. I saw the culture there. When his employees, they couldn't wait to shake his hand and to say
amazing.
Thank you. And when he gave out a ton of awards, I don't even know, 600 awards or something like that. It was some crazy number. And it was a huge venue. It was a big warehouse, as I mentioned. And it was loud. They had music going on, all this cool stuff. And when the folks would hear their name that they won an award, they literally, Bryan, would sprint to the stage to get their award. It was such a sense of pride.
That's amazing.
And accomplishment, bro. I mean, it was touching, man. It was moving. I was like, now you talk about culture. That's culture, 100%. And I'll just share this with you too. One of the low lights of the night, unfortunately, is he called me up on stage, just how you had mentioned about the abs company, and his assistant Alan was there, and through an interpreter was saying, look, you're the abs company, you have to have these great abs. And I was like, yeah, abs are all right. She said, well, you got to show everybody. And I was like, what the hell? I'm in Taiwan. Why not? No one will see this video. Duh. And sure. So I eventually, and I had to, I took my jacket off and I, showed off the abs. So it was,
That's
hopefully,
awesome.
that won't be too bad for business.
That's
but,
awesome.
yeah, man. But just a wild event. And as kind of like we talked about earlier, you kind of see firsthand, in addition to the party, that fitness is universal. Obviously, or not obviously, I don't speak Mandarin. My business partner, Sean, doesn't speak Mandarin, but we didn't need to. I mean, when you go there, the people were so incredible, so into fitness. I mean, they're working out, they're looking at their biceps, their triceps, they're big on the abs. I mean, they just had a ball. And then we were doing the training with the battle rope ST and the tire flip. And they just were so into it. It was just an amazing experience.
Freaking amazing.
It was, dude. He's the #1 operator with personal training now. And we trained, we did a training for their trainers. And I could tell why. I mean, these folks were class, top of their game. So it was a once in a lifetime experience, 100% for sure. And not just being in Taiwan, but what I learned from visiting his clubs and really seeing it up firsthand of what true success is in that type of culture. So pretty amazing for sure, man.
But
Great
dude,
stuff.
So what makes you tick every day? You get up in the morning.
Yeah.
First day of spring.
Yeah, man, ready.
You're running, right?
Yeah,
to
no
the
doubt.
gym.
Absolutely.
Then you're working out.
Yes. And then I run home.
Then you run home.
Yes.
And
I
then
run
you
home.
start your business day. right?
Exactly, 100%.
Like I know a lot of people that say I'm gonna skip it today. I banged my toe. I was up late. Whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Do you
Yeah.
miss days? You never miss days?
I usually go about 4 or 5 days a week for sure. But I try to exercise. I usually get something a little bit in, but it's usually definitely during the work days. Let me take that back. It's probably about 5 or 6 days. Usually I take Sunday or Saturday off depending, just to give my body a little bit of a break. But I need that, man. I need that juice in the morning. Like when I wake up, again, it comes back to, we'll talk about with purpose, right? The purpose, what's the purpose? And you get up, and sure, there's some days when the alarm goes off at 5 a.m., man, I'm laying in bed, especially when the weather's been crappy. You're like, dude, I don't want to get up. But you're like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm getting up because I know, this is going to be the part of my day that this is for me. I'm going to go train. I love training. Ever since I've been a young guy, I love training. I love working out. Not only for the physical part, as you know, but it also for the mental side of it. I just love the challenge of it. I love getting pumped up, getting motivated. And that just brings me right into my day, and just that energy level. So when I was injured a couple years ago and I wasn't able to work out for 5 or 6 weeks. And let me tell you something, I was a freaking basket case, man. I was hurting, and not just physically, but mentally, because I needed that rush. I needed that energy. So, yeah, man, it's just part of the, I just feel so blessed and so fortunate. Every day I wake up, we have something where you say, lead with gratitude. And when I wake up, I have a ritual now. I don't touch my phone. So, if you text me, man, I'm probably not going to answer for a little while but I love to just wake up, kind of get into my zone, think about the day, and just really think about my blessings and what we're grateful for. And especially my health, I feel freaking great today. I want to go train. I want to go work out.
That's
and
awesome.
that just gets me super amped up. So I just go and do it, man.
And dude, I think that's so important. And so many people who are listening to this might kind of glance over what you said because you said it so quickly and whatnot, but it's a ritual. This is something that you do every morning. You don't have your phone available. It's not the first thing that you reach for.
Nope.
And you count your blessings.
Absolutely.
And the more and more successful people that I meet, the more and more I realize how many of them are engaged in a very similar morning ritual where they wake up, they drink a glass of water, they think about their blessings, they hit the gym, they do their workout, right? And they don't even look at the email or the I'll tell you something that I did recently. I got rid of I have a phone still, right?
Of course.
But at night, I put that on my charger in the kitchen, and then I have a secondary phone.
Nice.
And the secondary phone has no text, has no email, no nothing. So it's just, for emergency type of things. Yeah, just for
Just
phones.
for somebody calls you.
Someone needs to call
so
me.
if I call you, you'll pick up on that phone.
Mike Ritter calls me, I'm going to
I
pick
got to
up.
get that number.
We know
Make sure
that.
we get that
Yeah.
number. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I agree. So in the morning, that's the thing. And then right before I go to bed, too. I like to shut it down right before I go to bed. And just, obviously I have 2 small girls. I have a 9 and a 6-year-old man. And I love to spend, even if I get home later from work, I just like to spend that time with them. And whether we're reading a book or we're doing some type of activity, some type of family time. That's it. And then I start my day that way and I end my day that way. And I just...
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So, but again, it's like you said, you wake up. I just feel so fortunate. Growing up, man, I had some health issues. I had asthma growing up and things like that. So there were certain times when I felt like I couldn't train, I couldn't work out. So maybe because of that on some level, I have even a deeper appreciation for my health and I don't take it for granted. I definitely don't. I don't take it for granted. And I, like I said, if I have the energy to train, man, I'm going 100%.
And fitness has been your passion, but you haven't always been in the fitness industry.
Yeah, no, that's right. So I started training as a young guy, and then, man, I graduated from college, and I was more in the teaching field. And a buddy of mine, a colleague at the time, said, you know what, they're hiring at the Department of Corrections for a teacher. And I'm like, Department of Corrections? What is that? He's like, that's the prison system. I said, what is it, a joke? And he said, no, man, like they're looking for somebody to kind of run their physical training program. I thought it was with the officers at first. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. You have to go work out. And then I found out it was with the inmates. I'm like, look, I needed a job. So I said, you know what the heck? I'll at least go for the interview. They called me. They were nice enough to call me in for the interview. Went down and the guy sold it to me. He said, look, man, you're going to be working with young folks. They're going to be ages 18 to 30 years old. At this time, I'm like 24, 25. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. We're working out, doing. He said, but these are guys that are locked up. There's inmates and, okay, cool. And, I was like, you know what? I had another job at a public school at the time, an offer, because I was in the teaching track. That's what I thought I wanted to do, teach and coach and all that stuff. And I just had a gut feeling. Like, you know what? Like, even when I talked to my parents at the time, my father was still alive, and he's like, I don't know, man. Like, you could work at a nice high school or you want to work at a prison. I said, Dad, I don't know. There's something about working, because I always kind of gravitated towards those guys where I think I could make an impact. That's what I really wanted to do. And I went and did it, man. It was like I said, you go with your gut feeling a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? And sure enough, man, it was an awesome experience. I did that for a couple years. And then I was blessed to have the opportunity to start an anti-drug, anti-gang program. At that time, I was the commissioner and director of education. And Chris Lackerdale was her name. She gave me the opportunity. And we started this program where we would actually take out inmates, guys and girls, take them out to schools, even, schools all over New Jersey. And they would talk firsthand with the students, the young people, about decision making. And it wasn't like people it was like Scared Straight, where you would scare them and yell them. It wasn't like that. It was, look, these people obviously were incarcerated, so they made some bad decisions. And it ranged from drinking and driving, texting and driving, drug use, and so some other hardcore stuff, depending where you were going. But what I quickly learned is you know what? For the most part, these were normal people. And at some point in their life where they didn't have a mentor, they didn't have they made some bad decisions, they're friends, and they made some really poor choices. And I said, if we can get them to share those choices, because now, it's real concrete. They're locked up. Your life sucks right now. You're in prison, you're a young person, that's no fun. If we could get them to come out and to bravely share why they were there, it could possibly make a difference. I don't know, let's find out. And they were like, yeah, let's try it. Now, at first I had to get the public schools to buy in to say, hey, look, we're going to bring inmates to your schools. I mean, obviously there's officers and stuff like that, but they're like, nah, no thanks, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I see it, I understand obviously now, but the inmates are coming to school. I'm like, what? But we had a couple brave souls. I kind of twisted their arm a little bit, so to speak, said, let's give it a shot, it's going to be awesome. And and it just took off. The students, we would have 1,000 students, and you could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
Now, that's hard in a
high school, yeah.
Especially people are, trying to get this girl's number and they're looking around and worried about everything else. And when I would introduce those inmates, man, believe me, it wasn't what I did. It was when I would introduce those presenters, it was like, boom, they got it. And what really inspired me is, despite all the stuff, the presenters, and you and I have talked about this before, about, again, having purpose, right? they were in a really tough situation because after we spoke, make no mistake, they would go back to prison and be amongst people that thought, number one, like, what are you doing? That's stupid, that you're soft, you're going out, you're working with me, you're working with the man, you know, so they would face a lot of repercussions. They would have their food stolen, their clothes stolen. But you know what? They didn't care at the end of the day because they knew they were making a difference. They knew they were having an impact. And I always respected that. And I would never let, to the best of my ability, anyone disrespect them when we were out there because I had that level of understanding and respect for them. So they went out, man, they put themselves out there. Like if you're a 22-year-old kid, you're talking about how you killed your best friend in a drinking and driving accident. That takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of 1,000 people that are going to judge you, obviously. But it was for the greater good, right? And they did that, and I'll tell you, I love that. That was awesome. I did that for, almost 15, 16 years. So I had about a 20-year career in the DOC.
So that freaking purpose, though, is incredibly powerful.
No doubt.
There's so many people that go throughout their entire lives without discovering, a true purpose. They're just sort of like going through the motions.
Yeah, man.
Get a job, just keep going, 100%. Retire, and you never know what it feels like to do something that you absolutely love, to truly be on a mission to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, and even when I was working in there, the inmates that I work with, they had like this incredible attitude. And I tell you what, it used to inspire me because I'm thinking I'm having a crappy day, man. They're going back to prison. Like they came out, they had their A game. They were ready. I mean, I'd get them a little pumped up. Hey, you're going to out here make a difference, but they had their A game. And then I would go back, which really kind of threw me off a little bit because I would go then back to the jail and here hey, we did this. And there'd be some really miserable people working there. And I'm not talking about the inmates. And look, I worked with some amazing, incredible officers and staff. But there was these folks that were miserable. In fact, when I first started in DOC, I would go in and say, hey, man, how you doing? It'd be Monday morning or whatever. And, I come in with my energy. And sometimes people are like, what the hell is this guy's problem? But I would go in, hey, man, how you doing? I'd be like 12 years, 14 years. That's how they would respond to me. I'm like, maybe I'm a little thick, which I am, but I'm like, what the hell does that mean? 12, 13 years. Like, oh, it's time I can retire. I got 14 years to retirement or 12 years to retirement. I'm like, and even as a younger guy, I was thinking, man, that's terrible.
That is terrible.
You're living right now. You're not living in the moment. You're not being present like we are here. And you're waiting 14 years and then you're going to be happy?
Whoa.
You talk about not having a purpose. Now, this job sucks. And I would ask them, these are capable people, 30-some years old, 40 years old. And I'm like, look, man, you're miserable. Yeah, I hate this job. I hate the inmates. I hate this. Why are you doing it? Why are you here? Like, well, I have no other options. So here you talk about an inmate that's inspired, that's ready to go out and help change because he's got purpose or she's got purpose. And then you talk about somebody who's free, who's miserable, who's not where they want to be, And even when I talk to them, they're just like, nah, I'm just going to do this and whatever. And it was sad in a way.
What do you think? You think people are born with purpose and they discover it by chance? Or, are you just like the type of person that just goes out there and no matter what is handed to you, you're going to turn lemons into lemonade type of thing?
I think it's probably a little of both. I think that definitely helps, your DNA for sure. My mom and father were very positive, always encouraged. My mom to this day is incredible. Always looks at things and always encourage us, hey, look, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. So luckily for me, I was extremely blessed and I had my mother and father and my family and that. Now I have some incredible friends like yourself and Sean Gagnon who, same thing, like, hey, man, we're always pushing each other, right? So I think it's where you're a little bit of your DNA, how you're growing up, where you're growing up. I think it's a nature nurture thing for sure. But even still, these were people that were intelligent, that are intelligent. But I don't know. I think a lot of it is like they just were so ingrained to say, this is what it is, man.
So at the abs company, you want none of those people. You want people who are right. So how do you create that culture where everybody's driving towards success? Yeah. Everybody feels fulfilled. So everybody's, you're that guy that everybody's looking up to because you're helping them live the life of their dreams. How do you create a culture like that?
It really comes down to, we sat down a couple years ago and Sean Gagnon went over. We go to a program out in Phoenix and he came back with these tools from these very successful companies. And that's one thing about us, like, as successful as we've been, especially him, he's my college roommate, incredibly successful. he's always learning. He's always telling me about this book or this, and he's always learning how we can do things better. Let's do better. Let's do better. Let's do better, which I love that. And came back and said, you know what, we really want to put down, because obviously we have people, I believe, high character, high energy. We really want to put it on paper. Let's create this core values as a team. So everybody, you sign on for this, like these are non-negotiable. These are core values. And let's really come up with our purpose, right? And our purpose is we change lives from the core. So everything that we do, every decision comes back to that, is we change lives from the core. Now that could be, obviously, like in your centers, we're extremely proud to be working with you and your franchisees and your team, because we see that firsthand, not only for the members, the results they're getting, they love working out in the Battle Rope ST, but also for the franchisee, how it helps them, how it helps you, hopefully. You know, we continue to do that. But also the person who's, you know, packing the equipment up at the factory, right? Who's making the equipment. And also comes back to, we change lives from the core. You know, a monthly initiative that we have, we sit down as a team, and we have a program called TAC Gives Back. You know, and it's basically charitable organizations that'll come to us, whether it's personal, maybe you had something in your life that, you know, affected you. I had something personal in my life that we donated to, which was amazing. And then other folks will bring, hey, you know, like we just donated to a group up in Fort Lee that lost, unfortunately, displaced by a fire. So it really makes us feel proud. So we say we change lives from the core. You have to fit in that culture. And there's no such thing as you can come in, and even if I think you're going to be really strong in sales, like you're going to kick butt in sales, if you don't fit in that culture, we don't want you. You're not going to be part of it. And even as Sean and I talk about a lot, like if you don't walk through that door, man, and you're super fired up and you don't want to be here and you don't want to work together and you're not part of this purpose, a part of this mission, this is not the place for you. God bless you, but you're going to have to go somewhere else. We're going to love you right out the door. You got to go. And that's really where we're at right now. As far as, we obviously want A players, we want high energy players, but you got to be a culture fit.
Yeah.
And that, of course, goes back to results too. You can't just be hey, let's rock and roll. You don't get any results. So let's be clear about that. But it all comes down to, look, man, you got to fit in that culture. You just do. And it starts with, we change lives from the core. It all starts there.
I know so many business owners, they do the opposite, right? So they don't have a culture. So in other words, they don't clearly define the culture.
Yeah.
And so they're not intentfully stepping out into their business daily, creating something. It's just sort of like whatever the freak creates around them is whatever it is. So their culture is whatever it happens to be.
Right.
I think that's what you guys are doing is freaking huge.
Awesome.
It's huge.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, it's been a game changer, because even when we're talking to customers, you know, like these core values that we've developed as a team, they're non-negotiable. So it's with customers, it's with each other. Like, we don't tolerate, if anyone, you know, we don't, like, hey, you're having a bad day, understand, got it. But we say a continuum. So whether you're in sales or you're in logistics or whatever, you know, we take that very serious. Everyone is just as important. Whether again you're a million, you know, you're $2 million in sales, or you're the person packing up the parts. Everyone is equally important. So that's where it comes back to that core value and that culture for sure, 100%.
It's making those tough decisions. Like you say, hey, we're going to love you out the door, but
absolutely,
you know,
we've had to do it.
A lot of business owners hold on to people for way too long.
Yeah, and look, we have to. We've made that mistake too, but I think now we're at the point where we're learning. Yeah, as it goes on, and we understand. Like now, it's like, okay, you know, this is not the place for you. You know, we want people that are going to come in, like I said, and really, really embody those core values and that mission. And if you're not part of that, then you're not part of it. That's it. So, you know, hey, look, there's other places. We're going to grow, but we're going to grow with the people that fit into those values for sure.
So what advice could you give people who maybe are just starting out in business and, you know, sales just isn't their thing? Maybe they're not completely comfortable with, you know, making regular sales calls, those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, I would say a lot of times, like when we speak to other entrepreneurs and stuff, or even trainers, like in health clubs, they're like, yeah, dude, I don't sell. I'm not a trainer. I'm like, well, how'd you get this job? Well, I'm interviewed. Yeah, you sold yourself, right?
It's true.
You sold yourself. Yeah. And how you sell? Like, a lot of people think sales is just like calling people up and banging phones and calling. You're doing sales all day long, you know, whether you know it or not. You're selling, you know, to get a date with your girlfriend, or when you go to a restaurant to get that better seat or something. There's our general examples. But what I say is, you know, it's like anything else. Sometimes you think, well, you have to be born to be sales. And I think that's somewhat true, but like with anything else, it's a skill. You have to practice. You have to read. You have to, take courses like you and I have talked about before. And you have to do it. It's like anything else. You got to learn to sell. You can't just say, well, I'm picking up the phone, I'm selling. And it comes back to, having scripts, being comfortable. And again, having that purpose. Why are you calling? Why are you calling somebody? And we talk about a lot of times when you're confident, you have a level of certainty. So I think even like when you and I were talking, it took me probably 3 months. And this is not to put you on the spot, but you're rocking and rolling. You're busy. I'm calling you. Hey, Bryan, I got a cool product. Hey, Bryan, I got a cool product. Finally, now if I would have gave up, we wouldn't be sitting here right now, right? So I just said, hey, look, this guy's really busy. He's not for me. Let me go on the next. But I was certain that this product would be a fit for you guys and it could bring value to the Max Challenge. So I said, I'm staying with this guy. I'm staying with this guy. Followed you on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm staying with him. And then finally, we connected. And that's when you take advantage of that opportunity, right? We got together and right away we just connected that way. But if I would have gave up, but I said, oh man, Bryan's not calling me back. He hates me. Or you just, But again, I think a lot of times it's when we're onboarding new salespeople or anything in that matter, when you're going into the business, let's be real, let's be straight about it. You're going to have to sell for sure. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get into the business, I don't like to sell. I'm going to leave that for somebody else. No, you're going to be selling, whether it's to get more money for inventory. You're always selling, right? Whether you're selling a product, you're selling something. So my advice would be learn it, talk to people. There's plenty of online courses you can do and all this kind of thing. If you hit me up on LinkedIn, I can definitely help you out with some sales tips and even lead you in the right direction.
That's awesome.
So yeah, definitely hit me up there because we've been through a lot. And some are okay, and some are great. I'm talking about the different sales tools that are out there, so I can definitely help folks out for sure. Would love to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So in terms of the future for the abs company,
Yeah,
right?
man.
You're a big thinker, a big
Right.
dreamer.
Yeah.
What's the future of this company? What do you see this thing in 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, that's a great, we talk about that a lot, right? We have a 3-year plan where we're going to be, the main thing though, it keeps coming back to is that changing lives from the core. Regardless of the scope of the company, that's what we're going to keep doing. And right now we have a full line of abs products. We specialize in 2 areas, Bryan. We specialize in the abs and in the functional. You know it from the Battle Rope ST, but we're also functional. We just introduced 2 new products at URSA trade show last week that were amazing. The customers that came by the booth.
I saw some of them. They look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, man.
I feel like setting up the sled.
The sled
awesome.
mill was just, the response was just fantastic. So we're never a company that's a Me Too company. Like you won't see the abs company just copy somebody's product because it's hot or because it's cool. And we never will do that. We're always looking. Sean, the CEO, is always searching. And look, we have a bunch of people that come to us with different ideas. You had one on your show, Jose Matos for the Battle Rope ST. And again, just like anything else with our company and our culture, it's got to work. It's got to fit. Now, Jose, as you know, 100% fits in our culture. The guy is freaking awesome, right? So right away when we met, his product was fantastic. This guy's incredible. We said, yeah, we got to bring him on the team. So we're always looking for products like that, whether people bring them to us or we develop them ourselves. But we're always looking again for, we have a theory too, where we have products and programming for the life cycle of the member. Meaning like you could be a brand new person, never ever worked out in your life, hate working out. We want to have some product and programming for you. Or you could be like us, couple crazy dudes that have been working out, running at 5 in the morning. We have something for you too, right? So we want to have everything from the beginner. So again, that life cycle of the member. Because look, when I walk into your centers, man, I have to tell you, it's like I talked about with my friend at World Gym Taiwan. Your centers, man, are amazing. I see the energy. I see people having fun and working out. And look, let's face it, some of these folks are people, and I talk to them, they would never go to a gym, but they feel comfortable at your place, at the Max Challenge. Now, you just have that
means a
culture.
lot, you say that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think that's why we get along so well, because it's a match, right? You've got a
100%.
company that offers products that are specifically designed to enhance the lives of people from a wide range of backgrounds. Yes. And that's exactly what we serve, people from a wide range of backgrounds, people who've never exercised before to people who have been exercising for an extended period of time. And
100%.
it's
I
amazing.
saw it firsthand. When I go into clubs and go into gyms, fitness centers, I love working out with the folks that have never worked out just as much as the people that are highly advanced. But even more so for the beginners, because I see it in their eyes. Or I see them like, oh, I can do it. I always use the analogy too. It's like when I would go into, I don't know, I think you're probably not good at fixing things. I'm just going to go off on a limb.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if we need a picture hung up, we call the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too. I call my wife.
Yeah.
Or my father-in-law, or So anyway, I use that analogy a lot of times when I walk, because look, you and I can walk in any gym in the world. We know what to do, right? We know where to go. I use the analogy like when I walk into Home Depot or Lowe's, and I'm like,
I love that.
whoa,
Yeah.
dude! Like
awesome.
I have nowhere to. I don't know what to do. I feel embarrassed to even ask a question. What a lot of members, do, because they're like, I don't want to ask because I don't want to look like that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to look silly or stupid. So what do? I walk in. If I can't find, I don't even want to ask. I walk right out. That's what a lot of people do in fitness centers today, right? That's what they do. They walk in and they walk right out.
It's true.
And you didn't help them.
70%, they said.
Yeah.
70% of the people who buy a 1-year membership don't even use it twice. They go on the day, the first introduction day, to sign the papers and basically give them the auto draft information, and then that's it. They're out.
It's terrible. You're not changing lives from the core that way, right? You're not changing anyone's life that way. And you think about the missed opportunities there, not only for the health, but also the mental, the emotional, spiritual, and all that stuff. So, yeah, again, I mean, like in your centers and like what we're doing is we try to, again, we have those products and programming that's for everyone. For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Dude, let's end this thing on a high
Yeah, bro,
note. Let's give all these guys, you give them some of your juice. Give them some information to kind of like send it home for people who like are thinking about getting in shape or even just thinking about changing their lives.
Yeah, dude.
What's the one thing? You've seen a lot of people change their lives.
Yeah, I have people come up to me a lot, I have to say, and I'm going to announce it right here live on the Max Factor podcast, that we are going to be starting I'm going to be doing this, starting off on LinkedIn, going to put it to Instagram, where I'm going to provide free information on training and working out.
That's
going
awesome.
to be for everyone. So I'm going to make that announcement right here.
I love that.
On your show.
That's awesome.
The Max Factor. Look for that. Hit me up on LinkedIn for that. I'm not a big Instagram guy yet, but I'm going to start getting on there. We have apps.
So if people want to get in touch with you,
hit me up
LinkedIn.
on LinkedIn for sure.
Cool.
For right now, and then you'll see us on there. But my point is that I really want to hear, look, man, I'm 49 years old. I'm blessed. I feel great. I'm in pretty decent shape. I want to help others get to that point too, because I hear so many times, and look, we have a thing we call We Change Lives from the Core Tour, and I go around to these health clubs all around the country, right around the world, in Taiwan. And you talk to people, I'm 30 years old, or I'm 35 years old. Man, when I was 20, I was in shape. But hey, you're 30 years old, 40 years old. It's not right.
It's crazy.
You can get in the best shape right now, today, this moment, by starting right now. So I'm going to help people do that. And look, it's not complicated. Let's face it. It isn't rocket science. You got to just start and do it. But the key is just making that commitment. And really, it's going back to purpose. Why are you doing it? Is it because your daughter's getting married? Is it because, you're going to the beach this summer? Is it because you just don't feel comfortable in your own skin, and maybe you'd feel a little bit better if you lost some weight? Or maybe it's emotional. Maybe physically you look fine, but emotionally you're a wreck and you want to do it. I mean, shoot, a lot of times for me, that's why I train now, is because, look, I want to get my mind right for the day. And I just want to help people get to that point, because exercise, training, all this has done so much for me in my life that I want to give back. I want to do that and say, look, I want to help you. So hit me up on LinkedIn for that. And again, it's just a matter of getting started, just doing it. Join the Max Challenge. Go to a gym. Just put a freaking pair of running shoes on, man, and go out and run. But there's so much stuff. But sometimes you just need that catalyst. You just need somebody to give you a little bit of a kickstart. So I'm going to be able to help people do that. That's for awesome. Sure. Yeah, man.
I'm going to give you one more plug on that, because I'll tell you, like when we put your equipment in our centers,
awesome.
The support that came along with that equipment
great. Thank you.
Was literally above and beyond. I mean, the training that comes along with it, and truly everything that you're saying, changing lives from the core, that's not just something that's coming out of your mouth, that's something that you're acting out every single day. I could vouch for that. Anyone who's thinking about putting this equipment in their center should 100% do it. This stuff is about changing lives. So
yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, check out the abscompany.com on our website, on our Instagram. We have all the equipment on there, like Brian's talking, like you're talking about, right? And then, yeah, man. But I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot.
awesome, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Good stuff, dude. That was quick. We got to do this again.
yeah,
Woo!
I love it. Woo!
Tell me real quick about that. The time I called you. You got time? Talk about that.
The
phone
time you
call?
called-
That time I called you and your wife was in the car.
Oh my God!
She said, "Who is
yeah,
this?"
so
nut?"
we're driving in the car. I'm driving, and oh, it's Mike Ritter. I gotta take this call. So I push accept,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, first thing out of his mouth is woo! And you see, like everybody, my kids, my wife, the eyeballs come out of their head, and,
That's right,
they're
that's
like,
right.
"What the heck is
Yeah,
that?" It
yeah.
just that was just the start of it, though. Then
Right.
it just goes. It goes higher and higher and higher, and then I'm getting pumped up. He's getting pumped up. I'm almost like I gotta drop you guys off. I gotta go work out, and then I gotta go to work and
That's
get something done. I gotta get this out of my system. Mike
Yeah, man,
Ritter has
cool.
got me all jacked up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's keep that going. Let's spread
Let's
that
do it.
enthusiasm, dude. Let's do it. Thanks again, man.
All right, man.
Really appreciate you.
Take it to the max, people.